Yes. Imperial Job here with another movie review. Yes. We're talking about Beat Street today. Beat Street, one of my favorite movies. Came out in 1984. Directed by Stan Lathan, the father of Stan Lathan. And produced by Harry Belafonte, the 7th-decade veteran. And we should pay our homage to him. He's still alive. Give him his roses while he's still alive. Go ahead. So this movie was distributed by Orion Pictures. $1 million budget movie. Grossing $17 million. As opposed to Wild Style that only grossed in $15,000. They fixed all that problems and they made it a real movie. And everybody loved it. The movie starring Rae-Dawn Chong, the daughter of Cheech and Chong, Tommy Chong, and you got Guy Davis, the son of Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis, famous couple. Rest in peace to them. So this movie centralizing and trying to get to the Roxy. The Roxy is a major club in New York City that got shut down recently as 2017. You can't go visit that site. The site is tore down. It's now a condominium apartment building in New York City. But that's where the movie ends, at the Roxy. That's the whole point of it. Like, we're trying to get to the Roxy. He's a DJ Kenny Kirkland. He has his brother Lee. He's the main protagonist in the movie. Of course, his brother Lee is a breakdancer of the NYC Breakers, which we're going to discuss a little further more of the many hip-hop cameos that appeared in this movie. A whole star-studded list. These people were still famous in 1981, but they didn't make it into the Wild Style movie, but they made sure they got on this film. And we got DJ Kool Herc, the organizer of this whole hip-hop thing. Africa Bambaataa and DJ Jazzy J of the Zulu Nation and the Soul Sonic Force. Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Five. Kumo D and the Treacherous Three. Dougie Fresh. Shy Rock. Lisa Lee. Debbie D, the early females of the female all-stars of the time. There was a lot of female rappers in that time, and they were the popular ones. You got the Magnificent Force, the Dance Crew, the New York City Breakers, and the Rocksteady Crew. So basically, this is like a boy meets girl in the world. They're introducing themselves to their different worlds. So it's like Aladdin in some ways, because DJ Kenny Kirkland is like an Aladdin. He's a part-time graph writer, so that's a little criminal aspect of his personality. And they have a friend named Ramo, who is a graph writer, very talented. He's the only one in the crew that doesn't have the same situation as them. He has an actual wife and a son, and he's pressured by his father to, be a man and bring in money through working and being honest and being a 9-to-5 guy. But his passion is bombing trains, bombing abandoned train stations, and just having his work displayed throughout New York City. That's his focus. DJ Kenny Kirkland's focus is trying to get to the Roxy, trying to be the resident DJ for the Roxy. Right now, he's a local DJ playing abandoned building parties, which was prevalent in those days. There was a lot of abandoned buildings in the boogie down, rundown Bronx in 1984 under the direction of Ed Koch. So, and you got his brother Lee that's going around battling different crews with the NYC Breakers, mainly the Rocksteady Crew is their main adversary. They battle about 3 or 4 times during the movie. And throughout the whole movie, it's just them and their story are trying to get together and trying to make it to the top. This movie is a fun movie. It brings together a lot of aspects of the hip-hop culture, especially the dancing, the DJing, the MCing, and the graph writing. All of that is in the movie. This movie has its up and downs. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. But everything in this movie is authentic. All the scenes are authentic. There was no set. There's no sound stages. A lot of the scenes were still filmed in CCNY, so you can still see that site, the CCNY theater building. So the whole premise of the movie is you got Kenny trying to be the man, and he achieves that. He gets his dream job, and not without, tragedy and all the aspects of a movie that's involved with it. And you got his brother Lee, and you got the girl, the interest, and eventually they become a love interest with with a dramatic storyline with that. Accuse her of being like a style cramper, a person, an exposer, because she brought his brother Lee to the studio, and she basically brought him there to waste his time and get filmed and get copyrighted and written out of the play that they was doing. So her world is a clean, posh world of glamour and theater art and clean fun and everything. His world is, dilapidated Bronx, boogie down, in the train stations bombing, putting up beautiful murals all over the city with the train graffiti writing. And you have all the performances from the rappers that I listed before. And they had the Christmas show, and the song is called Jingle Jangle, and it was one of the greatest Christmas songs of all time, in my opinion. So if you get a chance to see this movie, go check it out. It's hard to find, and these type of movies are hard to find. There needs to be a streaming service that caters to these type of movies that came out, these cult classics. Unfortunately, we don't have them. It's not streaming on Netflix. It might be streaming on some other streaming service, but your mission is to find this movie and watch this movie. This movie grossed about $17 million. All right? So this is a successful movie. This movie, a fun fact about this movie, was entered into the 1984 Film Festival as a non-competitive piece, and which got great reviews. And this movie was more of a worldwide release than a local release. And it hit Germany. Now, for those who might not remember or even know, Germany used to be two countries. There used to be an East Germany and a West Germany. This movie started the snowball effect into uniting the countries to be one again. They started having hip-hop competitions, DJing, MCing, breakdancing in Germany on both sides. So you see how that impact of this movie had on the world. And then we're just talking about Germany. And of course, had the Japan release, and everybody fell in love with this movie. I, for one, fell in love with this movie as soon as I saw it. This movie was very heavily referenced during the 80s and the early 90s. And they had a recent 37-year anniversary, and they're going to keep going with the anniversaries. Hopefully, you can go to the 40th anniversary, which is going to be in a couple of years. And you will see the breakers still breaking, Crazy Legs and the Rocksteady crew still doing their thing, and the rest of the members that's still alive and still in the hip hop culture. I love this movie. I'm sure you will too. And yes, Beat Street, 1984. Peace. Remember, like and subscribe, leave the comments, and we're going to come back with more movies.